Hello gentlemen, and welcome to another monthly challenge brought to you by the Order of Fire. This month's challenge is going to be Mabu, the horse stance. I think all of you that have been watching Eastern martial arts videos know this position. It's the position that the old drunken master always gives the young student when he risks a little bit too much flapping of his lips. It is, however, a very basic foundational exercise for hip and leg strength and mobility. And that's exactly why we are going to focus on this thing for 1 month. The starting position of the Mabu, you put your feet together and then you spread them out starting heels first. So this is 1, 2, you flip out your feet to the side, 3, heels out, 4, toes out, 5, you're parallel. The last position is feet parallel. Now some people will do 7 steps instead of 5, and really it's just how you are comfortable with at the level that you're at. So this flip-flopping to the outside is basically just a way to measure your distance so that you're always going to pick the same distance and not have it a little bit shorter, a little bit closer, and then you're confused on the progress that you're making or not. Okay, now the feet parallel, I always get the first question is, what if I can't keep my feet parallel? What if they kind of like slide to the outside? That's fine, okay? You do what you can, but try to keep in mind that the goal is going to be to eventually keep the feet straight for the whole duration. But as I said, do just whatever you can. If you have previous injuries, if you have problems with your knees, these things need to be taken into consideration with your training. Now, since we've got the foot position right, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to sink down. So you're going to actively pull your knees to the outside and go into your feet so that you can keep your feet facing forward. How deep do you need to go? Now, the depth can be measured very simply by taking a stick and putting that stick onto your thighs. Now it's not allowed to roll off. So if you're deep enough, the stick will stay on here. If you come up too far, it will drop and let you know immediately that you screwed up, you gotta go lower, okay? So now we have the foot position and we have the depth. What am I supposed to do with my upper body? Now, the upper body is supposed to stay straight. I will show you from the side. Like this. So I have to actively pull my butt forward because otherwise I will be doing this. Okay, this is not the position that we want to have. We want to be as upright as possible. Again, depending on your level of fitness and mobility. Next question I usually get is, what am I going to do with my hands? So what's the correct hand position? And my answer is, there isn't one. You watch 5 different people explaining the Mabu, you will have 5 different arm and hand positions. So I have 2 suggestions for you. Number 1 is more of a Tai Chi energy position. In that position, your arms and hands are relaxed and you're forming sort of a circle. The idea is that you're catching the energy in here so that you can actually kind of squeeze and feel a ball of energy in here, okay? It's kind of like a Tai Chi position, or if you're doing tree hugging, yeah? So your classical tree hugger position. When I do that, my back is kind of rounded, so my shoulder blades are actually forming a circle as well, okay? So I don't have a straight back like this. I do have it rounded. The other extreme position would be sort of a classical karate position where you are trying to have more a rigid straight back and then you're doing this kind of thing. Okay, from the side, you're actively pulling your shoulder blades back and down, and you kind of have a double-fisted position here. You can probably guess I'm not a karate guy, which is probably why this doesn't really look very good. The main thing we're working on with the horse stance is hip and leg strength and mobility. So for that reason, your upper body is a secondary consideration. So whatever you want to do up here is more or less up to you. It's not going to affect the usefulness of the exercise for the hips and the legs. What's our goal? How long should we be doing this Mabu? We're going to do it as long as you can. As long as you can basically bear the pain and still generate some muscular tension to hold yourself in position. If you know Ido Portal, he used to have a prerequisite in order to get on some of his advanced training programs, and that was one of the prerequisites was to hold the horse stance for at least 7 minutes. Now, aim for 7 minutes, okay? I'm just saying that. So in case you're over 7 minutes, feel free to take a break. So how do you integrate this into your regular training? We're going to start off by getting a baseline time. Now, before we're getting that baseline time, I want you to do 1 day of just kind of getting settled into the stance, trying to figure out how far apart your feet should be, what the best foot position is, what do you want to do with your upper body, what are you going to do with your hands, how are you going to, measure the time, and so on. So all the bits and bobs that you need in order to make your first baseline test actually a correct test. Once you've done all the trying out stuff, take 1 day of rest because you might be sore after that first day of strength training that you're not used to. And then after a day of break, go for as long as you can. Just 1 set. We're always just going to do 1 set. We're going to do as long as we can. That's your baseline, your first test as long as you can. Write that down. This is where you start. And then you're going to do your training for the month. And at the end of the month, we're going to do the challenge. The challenge obviously is going to be Mabu for time. Okay, so you're going to sit in Mabu for as long as you can. But before you do the final challenge, I want you to take at least 3 days off, actually more or less exactly 3 days off, so that you're in your best possible shape to do the Mabu challenge. Training. How often should you do the Mabu? So some people would suggest that you do it every day. It's just 1 set. It probably is going to take you 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes, and that is it. You can do it at any time during the day. You can do it as a warm-up or activation set before your regular strength training. I would not really do it after leg day, but that's up to you, okay? The most important thing is that you write down your times and take note on how your strength develops, okay? If you feel that, oh, it's getting worse, you need more rest time in between, okay? If you're getting better all the time, you're doing something right, and so on. So for some people, myself included, every day is too much. I usually try to go for every second, but at least every 3rd day. So I want to get at least 2.5 or 3 training sessions per week. Again, that depends on what kind of problems life throws at you. So some people feel more comfortable with trying to plan for an everyday session because they know basically every other day something's going to come up anyway. I'll forget about it. I can't make it, whatever. Feel free to write down your first challenge time and then your final challenge time down in the comments, as well as if you have any questions, put them in the comments as well. I wish you a lot of fun with the pain that Mabu will generate for you. Always remember, pain is a teacher as well. So listen to what the pain is trying to tell you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you with the next challenge again next month. Take care.